Hello, and thank you for joining me this very special day. It is the official release date of The Counterfeiter's Daughter. Right here behind me, I have a framed poster of the cover. I don't have it up because I'm in the middle of moving, but I do have smaller prints, and if you're interested in giveaways, if you sign up for my newsletter on victoriamarswell.com, you'll have opportunities to win free copies of the book, possible prints of the poster, and other goodies. I also share excerpts and short stories and other bonus content as well. So if you are interested in that, then please sign up. And so we'll get started on chapter 1. And you hear Mozart here in the background. There is a specific reason why I'm playing that, but you will have to get the book and read it to find out what that reason is. So once again, thank you for joining me on this journey. This took many years to get this copy of my book in print. And it is available now at all book retailers online. So let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start. And that is also a little reference there. And if you pick up on that after you read the book, comment on either Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, even my website, and let me know if you figure out that little reference there. Chapter 1. The 10 o'clock train departed, transporting Gretchen and the boys from Berlin to Munich. Sam sighed. Now they'd be safe from the deadly consequences of his poor choices. No more suffering family members as a result of his unscrupulous lifestyle. Sam shivered while he packed a small red suitcase with a few days' worth of clothing. Perspiration exuded from the pores on his forehead as he scuttled between the nightstand and the open bag on the bed. A cool morning draft whistled through a cracked window in the corner apartment on the 12th floor. "Are you planning a trip somewhere, Mr. Healy?" Sam jumped and twisted his body toward the voice. "But how—" "I'm sure you don't mind a visit from your employer," the man said, "since we have unfinished business." Sam licked his lips and swallowed hard. "Sorry you caught me at a bad time?" His dark eyes narrowed. "I suggest you be careful with your trade dealings and whom you betray." He wiped his sweaty brow. "I don't understand." "Think carefully before you speak." He took a few steps closer and reached into his coat pocket. "They may be your last words." Yeah, I will." "Good. Now where is it?" Sam flinched at the sound of the hammer of a gun ready to fire. Beads of sweat dripped from his temple and down his face. "Once again, where's the original?" He gulped. "It's not here, but I can get it and bring it to you." He loosened the collar of his shirt. "Later, I'll meet you tonight." Even the silence in the apartment buzzed in Sam's ears with the pounding of his heart. His assailant glared at him, then dug in his coat pocket and pulled out a cigarette, lifting it to his lips. "I'll give you one more chance." He struck a match, cupping his hands together to light the end, then threw the burning stick onto the floor. Sam's eyes darted toward the tiny flame on the edge of the rug. A breath hitched in his chest. "Next time your wife and kids may not make it to the train so easily." He wore a hard smile on his face, turned his back, and headed toward the door. "Be at the beer garden tonight, 7 sharp." He patted the pocket that concealed the gun and left. Sam seized a glass from the coffee table, tossed water onto the small fire, and stomped on the remaining flames. A billow of smoke rose, setting off the alarm. Grabbing a magazine, he stepped onto a chair and fanned the soot from the ceiling. He rushed to the front door, slammed it shut, then chained and double-bolted the locks. A tightness gripped his heart. He smacked a flat palm against his chest and sucked in a sharp intake of air. He bustled toward the writing desk in the room's corner, pulled out a sheet of paper, and scribbled a note. Time denied him a moment to dwell on thoughts of Gretchen and the boys. He only had one chance to react, and perhaps just this once, get it right. After he penned the letter, he folded it, sealed the back, and wrote the name of the one person essential to notify in his despair. Putting on his wool peacoat, he shoved the envelope inside his pocket and peered out the balcony. A silver sedan sat parked across the street. Sam noticed the vehicle when he returned after driving Gretchen and the kids to the Berlin Central train station. Sam's hands trembled, and he closed the window overlooking the Brandenburg Gate. The room darkened as he pulled the shades, blocking the little sunlight peeking from the thick gray clouds. He shuddered. An eerie sensation swirled in the pit of his stomach, spreading to his nerves, that he'd never again see the light of day. What he did was unforgivable, the woman's chin quaked, and a tear streamed down her cheek. Madeline pulled a tissue from the box on the corner of her desk and handed it to Lainey, her 10th emergency case assigned today. Her clients went through at least 3 boxes of tissues a week. She knew the struggle well from her own experience. It'll take time. You'll feel a range of emotions. That's why I personally connect you with a licensed professional counselor to help you through the difficult process. Madeline stood and stepped from behind her desk. She straightened the side seams of her dark blue pencil skirt and buttoned her matching blazer. I authorized a referral to our emergency shelter for 30 days. Thank you, Miss Brighton. Lainey sniffed hard, then blew her nose. She passed her business card. Please call me Madeline. And if you need an extension beyond the allotted time, you can notify me. A small smile flickered. Lainey stood, and her legs wobbled as if she were taking independent steps for the first time. Madeline held out her hand in case she needed assistance. She spun, her eyes wet and swollen. What if he tries to find me? Her voice trembled. Madeline placed an open palm on her shoulder. We maintain the highest level of confidentiality. You'll be safe. She strolled at a slow pace down the corridor, escorting her into the last office. Our client Lainey needs a ride to the shelter. Hello, I'm Cynthia, your case carrier. She swept back her sun-kissed golden locks and extended her hand. Please have a seat, and we'll have a quick chat before I drive you. Her smile lit up the drab little room. Madeline valued her coworkers. They were the closest she came to having a family. I leave you in accomplished hands. Let me know if I can further help you. Thanks. Lainey turned, her face dry but flushed. Madeline forced an encouraging grin and strode back to her office. Out of the corner of her eye, she glanced at the empty lobby and checked her bracelet watch, noting the time, 5:30 p.m. Like any government agency in Southern California, the Women in Crisis Center remained at maximum capacity daily, and most days the staff worked after business hours. Madeline slid against the smooth leather of her chair and ran her finger along the metal frame of her desk. She blew a free strand of hair from her face and kicked off her beige kitten heel shoes. Flipping through her inspirational calendar, she checked for an available date to schedule a haircut and groaned as she passed today's quote, "You're stronger than you realize." She tapped the tip of her pen against the stack of files piled on her filing cabinet, booked solid for the rest of the month. She'd have to deal with her hair growing past her shoulders. She rested her head against her palm, allowing her gaze to settle on a framed photo. The anniversary date of Mom's death was always a difficult workday, although Madeline preferred the distraction of staying busy with her job. Her stare shifted as a soft knock came from the ajar door. "Come in." "Are you ready for tonight?" Cheryl walked over and set a stack of letters on the edge of her desk. "What's going on?" "Aw, come on, it's girls' night out." "Oh, right. Madeline diverted her eyes back to the stack of papers. "I've got a lot to do." "Seriously? All you do is work. Plus, we're celebrating your birthday." She shook invisible pom-poms. "Woohoo, the big 3-0. Madeline rolled her eyes. "It was last Tuesday." Cheryl folded her arms across her chest and raised an eyebrow. "You know this is the only night Martin can stay home with the kids." "I appreciate the offer, but you're not getting off that easy. You do this every year." Cheryl had no problem speaking the truth. "Exactly, so you know why today is rough for me." "I do, but I don't think it's a good idea for you to sit alone at home." Madeline shrugged a shoulder and shuffled some documents. "I'll be fine." She glanced at her daily quote on the calendar. "Besides, I'm stronger than I realize." "I hope those positive affirmations help." Cheryl turned, then swiveled back. "I almost forgot I picked up your mail." Madeline stood from her chair and moved a stack of manila folders, parting the forest of files mounting on her desk. "Thanks, but please don't trouble yourself. I'm sure your workload is big enough." "No problem, I was picking up my mail anyway." Cheryl pointed to a large envelope. "I also signed for an express letter from Germany." "Germany?" "Yeah, and I'm glad you're as curious as I am about it." Cheryl's hazel eyes glimmered with the excitement of a teenage girl passing on a secret note between classes. "No need to get excited. I haven't met any men in Germany. I can always hope for you." "My odds are better at playing the lottery." Madeline pulled the tab on the back of the envelope. "And I witness every day how relationships end." "Now wait a minute." Cheryl placed a hand on her hip. "I agree it's disheartening to hear reports of abuse regularly, but for as many broken relationships, there are successful ones too." "Should I get the statistics?" Madeline tilted her head to the side. "I know you mean well, and your heart is in the right place, but you and Martin have a rare and special partnership." "Not really. It's just a lot of compromise and communication." She winked. "I'll keep praying for someone special to come into your life." "Okay, I'll leave the praying to you." Madeline swept her bangs across her forehead and opened the letter. She unfolded the piece of paper and read the first line. A coldness swept through her body, and she fell backward into her chair. "Are you all right?" Cheryl squeaked in a high-pitched tone and rushed over. "I need a moment alone." The creases deepened around Cheryl's eyes. "Sure. Let me know if you need anything." Cheryl closed the door as she left. Madeline appreciated their friendship. There was no need to give a long explanation, and a simple look between them explained enough. Madeline pressed her thumb against the paper, verifying the authenticity of what she read. She blinked hard and took a deep breath, preparing herself for the rest of the letter. "Dear Madeline Brighton, my name is Gretchen Eckel Healy, the wife of Samuel Healy, who passed away on the 4th of May. Sam and I have 2 boys, 10-year-old Alaric and 7-year-old Rainer, and our wish is for you to join us in Munich at All Saints Church. I scheduled the funeral service for Thursday, the 10th of May at 1 p.m. A gathering for the family will take place before the memorial service on Wednesday. I'll send details when you arrive. If you attend, I've booked you room 511 at the Hotel Fusen. We look forward to meeting you for the first time and regret it's under such sad circumstances. Please contact me with questions. Email, cordially, Gretchen." Her heartbeat resounded in her ears, and heat prickled her nape. The words blurred into random letters as Madeline stared at the page. Even if she wanted to go, she had clients depending on her services. She curled her trembling fingers, the paper crunching under her grasp. Pretend she never received the request and forget the whole thing? Madeline tossed the crumpled paper in the trash and dropped her head into her hands, massaging her temples. The day had gone from bad to worse. Somehow Sam knew where to find her, and yet still never called or reached out. She took a swig of her coffee and choked on the bitter taste mixed with the lukewarm temperature. Sam was dead. The poor boys losing their dad so soon. Even if Sam wasn't much of a father to her, she knew the negative effects of an absent parent. Madeline blew a heavy breath from her mouth, pulled the note from the trash, and did a search online for the first flight available to Munich, Germany. She booked an airline ticket and emailed her supervisor with a notification of time off for 2 weeks bereavement period, accounting for travel time, jet lag, and unforeseen entanglements with Sam's family. She sent a quick response to Gretchen. How weird to think of Sam having a family. For years, she attempted to disconnect her heart from any thoughts of Sam. She pressed her fingers against her chest and massaged the burning knot growing inside. Madeline slipped on her shoes, grabbed the letter, packed up her laptop and case files to pass on to another crisis counselor. Traveling to a foreign country required extensive planning. She paused, then shook her head. Good thing she kept her passport current. The extent of her international travels was a one-time trip to Canada, despite studying architecture for her dream job as a conservationist of historical buildings before changing her major to psychology at Cal Poly. Her heart banged with a heavy thud as she closed her office door. If she dwelled too long on the request, she'd change her mind and stay home. She had to follow her gut reaction and go. Madeline suppressed a surge of sickness in her stomach and squared her shoulders while she headed to Cheryl's office. Can you do me a favor? Madeline leaned against the doorframe. You got it. What do you need? Please follow up on my clients while I'm out of the office. She hobbled to the desk, her arms filled with folders and her oversized handbag slipping off her shoulder. Thanks, I really appreciate it. And I'll be at your place at 8 tonight. I need a ride to LAX. Wait, hold up. Cheryl removed her square frame eyeglasses. Does this have anything to do with that letter? Yes, it was a memorial announcement. I thought you didn't know anyone in Germany. I don't. Cheryl scrunched up her face. Girl, you make little sense. I'll tell you about it on the drive to the airport. I've got to go pack. See you in a few hours. Madeline turned and hustled down the hall. She blew out a gusty breath. Madeline never left the office for an extended length of time and always stayed an hour or two past closing. In her absence, Cheryl would be responsible for taking on extra work. Likewise, it would take a miracle to prepare for a last-minute trip to Munich. What choice did she have other than to honor the request of Sam's widow and children? Madeline checked her watch and hurried outside. Golden rays of sunlight filtered through the smog layer hovering over the city of Orange. Madeline squinted and dug out her sunglasses from her bag. Her body temperature increased in the sultry 80 degrees, and she cranked up the AC as she started her white Prius to head home in rush hour traffic on the 22 freeway toward Huntington Beach. On the regular hour or more drive, she increased the volume on her favorite classical station, calming her nerves. The sun set over the beach when she turned onto Pacific Coast Highway. She never tired of the serene sight of rose gold hues illuminating the sky. Fiery orange set the Pacific Ocean ablaze, while the sinking sun submerged, casting shimmering yellow light on the surface of the water. Circling the neighborhood 4 times, she parked against a curb a block away from her one-bedroom condo. Yet another cost of living 2 streets over from the beach, but at least it came with a view. She gazed at silhouettes of surfers riding the waves and sailboats floating in the distance. Once inside her cozy bungalow, her movements were sluggish and mechanical as she searched for her carry-on suitcase. When Grandma died 7 years ago, she moved in and felt that leaving most of the decor paid homage to her memory. Grandma's gardenia scent lingered in the back corner of the walk-in closet, and she pulled out the small suitcase. A breeze from the beach swept through her open patio door, and Madeline inhaled the familiar aroma of briny sea air like her childhood neighborhood of Avila Beach. No matter where she tried to escape, the past followed. Madeline gazed off at nothing. Sam was dead and had a family in Germany. News of Sam's passing on the anniversary of Mom's death emphasized the difficulty of tackling every trial in life alone. The quick decision to attend the funeral was impulsive and settled in while she packed her clothes. The invitation forced her to face the past or risk being haunted, even in death, by the memory of Sam. At 8:45 p.m., heading north on the 405 to LAX in bumper-to-bumper traffic, Cheryl kept her eyes on the crawling cars. Who is Sam Healy? A numbness engulfed her heart. Madeline made a point of avoiding the subject, since she'd have to dredge up suppressed memories. My mom's ex-husband. Your mom's? Cheryl pressed hard on the brakes. You mean your dad? Madeline cringed, grasped the interior handle above the window, and gulped. For lack of a better word, yes. Cheryl's response was the reason she never discussed Sam. I'm sorry, do you want to talk about it? The hairs on her nape raised. Not much to talk about. I hadn't seen him in 15 years. Cheryl paused with her mouth gaped. Maybe this is an opportunity for you to find a way to forgive and forget. Madeline tightened her jaw and forced half a smile. She'd rather just forget. I'm going for the purpose of supporting Gretchen and her boys at the funeral service. I totally get it. Cheryl glanced behind to change lanes and exit the freeway. You're going to approach the situation like it's another day at work. That's not fair, and you should talk, Madeline nudged Cheryl. She was never in the company of just a friend, since she was also a therapist. Hey, I call it like I see it. True, and I value your honesty. I don't want to focus on myself or the past, and I'm going because I feel an obligation towards Sam's family. Want to know what I think? Cheryl pulled into the drop-off zone for Lufthansa Airlines. You're brave and doing the right thing. Madeline's words swelled in her throat. Thanks. She grabbed her suitcase from the trunk and shut the door, then peeked through the rolled-down window. I appreciate the ride. Cheryl's smile shortened, and the wrinkle in her brow deepened. Let me know how you're doing sometime this week, after you get settled. I will. Hey, don't forget, you're stronger than you realize. Cheryl waved and flipped on her blinker. Okay, Madeline stepped back and laughed under her breath. I'll call you. Madeline stared as Cheryl drove away in her Honda CR-V. The sinking sensation in her belly intensified. Why did she feel compelled to support Sam's second family? Madeline knew all too well the chaos Sam could create. She entered Terminal 7 and followed the signage for Lufthansa. The nerves tightened in her shoulders and she shuddered. Madeline risked prolonging the pain from her past and never breaking free of Sam's constant betrayals. She'd seize any opportunity to put the past behind her for good, even if it meant flying halfway around the world for the first time. And that is the end of chapter 1. I hope you enjoy that, and hopefully you want to read the rest and pick up a copy. Once again, Amazon and all other major book retailers online. So I hope you enjoy, and please share your comments and your thoughts and your feelings, whether it be in the comments here on YouTube or on the social media outlets there. So thank you so much, and take care, readers.